welcome back to A Filthy Talk, a Filthy Lots live panel discussion show coming to you live from North Vancouver on the traditional lands of the Squamish Nation. And, what's happening? Shouting. Okay, sorry. Hi, welcome to Filthy Talk. We are coming to you live from North Vancouver on the traditional lands of the Squamish Nation. We encourage you at home to comment in the chat and tell us what traditional lands you're watching from. And if you don't know, do some research, figure it out. It's kind of fun to learn, you know, the history of the land that we all inhabit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. I'm Trevor, Gemma. And back to the show, joining me is Christopher Livingston.
Hello!
La la la. And returning as fact checker and chat liaison, so say hi to him in the chat, is Mr. Ryan Whyte. Nice hat you got.
Yeah, I like the hat, man.
It's a good hat.
What's going on with that hat?
It's a little sneak peek of some swaggy merch we've got coming along the lines in the near future.
Oh.
Nice,
This
very
is one of the
nice.
samples of some of the things that will be in our merch store.
Sweet.
Sooner rather than later.
I look forward to rocking one of those on this very show.
Yeah. Also, my hair is just like this horrific, horrible mess, and so it constantly has to be kept in containment.
Nice. It's getting long. It's getting seriously long now.
It's very long.
Yeah. You know, is it weird that as the owner of the company, I had no idea we were making those? Is that weird?
No. No.
You know, where's my hat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have one either.
All right.
So before, we just got to finish up some business from our last episode. We have another AFL hoodie to give away from last time that I've got some names in a cup, and I'm going to draw one. Okay, we have a winner, and the winner of a Filthy Lot hoodie, and we'll be in contact, and you can tell us what size you need. Marilyn Lutzman, congratulations, you're the winner of an AFL hoodie. I'm assuming Marilyn is of relation to Alex Lutzman, who is our tech director up in the booth.
There you go.
Or it's a crazy coincidence.
Yeah.
So hi, Marilyn.
Yeah, they're nice hoodies. Yeah. It's good.
So before we get into the bulk of today's episode, is there anything in nerd news you want to talk about?
Well, okay, so for me, the thing that's really fresh on the mind is we just finished Winter Soldier, or Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
And I really liked that series.
I enjoyed it. It almost lost me. Like a couple episodes in, I was like, what the hell is this? I didn't really buy the between Sam and Bucky.
Yep.
There was like this tension that felt manufactured. It didn't feel genuine.
Yeah, I mean, so to me it was a very interesting story because they collided a bunch of different stories about, you know, who becomes Captain America into this moment, and so it made some sense to me. The who honors the Shield, who honors Steve Rogers, and how close Bucky was to that, and so to see the Shield be given away, I could see that bringing tension.
I got that. It was there's a moment in like the second episode when they're having like couples therapy with Bucky's therapist, and he says a thing to Sam about like, if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me, and it didn't feel genuine. I was like, ugh. But once they introduced Zemo, I was on board.
Yeah.
I felt like he kind of saved that show.
Yeah.
And once they went to Madripoor, I was like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Madripoor was cool.
And I mean, I'll say spoiler alert, although in fairness, the whole show the premise was about Falcon becoming Captain America.
It's a succession, yeah.
That was the idea of the show. So I don't feel like that's too big of a giveaway.
Yeah, I mean, he's given the shield and told it's his time at the end of Endgame. So
so I don't feel like that's too big of a giveaway. But I have to say, and I will try here not to give away too much about that moment, but when he becomes Captain America in the end there, if there are some U.S. senators out there that happen to stop upon this, please watch it.
Yeah.
Okay? It was a very powerful and amazing moment, and I loved that.
There's a speech by Sam that it's not even just for senators, it's for anyone who holds a position of power,
Yeah.
It rings very true, and that was it was really well done.
Yeah, it was really well done.
It kind of woke something up in me.
Right?
It made Captain America not just represent America.
Yeah.
It's that aspect of Captain America that makes him like everyone's hero kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I dug that a lot.
So I have to say, overall, I think it was a very good series. It was a bit of a slow build, certainly. Yeah. And I would say it was the same with WandaVision. I felt that there was a bit of a, I wasn't sure where it was going.
Intriguing though.
Yeah. I wasn't sure where it was going in the beginning. Those first couple of episodes, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But then you got it, and it became something. But I am also super stoked for Loki, which is coming out.
Loki should be good.
Yeah, beginning of next month.
That looks very cool. I like the whole like time cop kind of thing.
Yeah,
going
right.
On there.
That Loki is a time cop. Oh boy.
Oh, and it's too bad Roz isn't here because just dropped today, and I just watched before this, is a teaser trailer for the new She-Hulk series, which looks pretty cool, I have to say. There's not much in the teaser. It's very much a teaser. It's like under a minute.
And I had no idea this was coming. I actually did not know they were doing a She-Hulk, and I think that's crazy and awesome.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
That's a great character to jump into. So yeah, really excited about that. I gotta check out the teaser after I get off of here. But yeah, no, that's a cool character to jump into. I'm curious if they're gonna do the whole cousin of Bruce Banner element to it and all that kind of stuff, or if they'll make it their own.
I have no idea. I mean, the MCU's been very good at sort of like taking stuff from the comics and giving it enough of a spin that it does tie into their own continuity.
Yeah.
Like they've done a very good job of that.
Oh yeah. No, I'm brilliant.
One more thing to mention is for those of you watching on Twitch, I mean, you'll be able to see it on YouTube afterwards, but this coming Tuesday, our repeating tabletop slot on Twitch, Tuesday, 3:30 in the afternoon Pacific time. This Tuesday is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And we are doing a Star Wars tabletop game. So tune in, wear your Star Wars best, and have some fun.
Yeah, I'll have all 5 of my lightsabers. It'll be great.
Like General Grievous.
Yeah, like General Grievous. I'll pull a full General Grievous. It'll be wonderful.
Not that it was very short-lived.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is exciting.
Yeah.
Not something we've done a lot of here, and I look forward to when we can do a lot more of it. But we have some outside the AFL actual company guests in the house today. Our friends from Convos TV, or Convos with my 2-year-old, are here to talk about their new season that just premiered last week.
Yeah.
So
really good. Check it out. It is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Introducing first. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of UFC lately. I've kind of reignited my passion. Fighting out of the blue corner.
Yeah.
One of the co-creators and stars of said show. We're gonna bring out Mr. Matt Clarke. Woo!
Hello.
We need to set up an audience applause.
Yeah.
Hello, sir, and welcome.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi. And in the red corner, sorry, I don't know why I'm doing this.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's a very good question.
I don't know, but this is my second drink. I'm losing it. David Milchard, please come to the stage. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, welcome.
So, first of all, thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Our pleasure.
No, it's been a lot of fun getting to know these two gentlemen and what they're into. It's been really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also to have, I mean, we are but wee toddlers in the YouTube realm. We only launched the channel last year, and you guys have been riding this horse for a little while now.
Yeah, someone called us OG YouTubers.
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Is that
accurate.
recent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we were kind of started at that weird, perfect spot where YouTube was like organic. There's that word again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one really knew what it was at that time. Like it was kind of like it was right at that transition from being like just people posting like cat videos
Yeah.
to like people being like professional
YouTuber.
YouTubers or like putting on like
Or making an actual show out of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
cool, creative stuff. Like that was like more, I don't know, or professional or just interesting or just different ways.
Season?
What's that?
2013.
Your first season was
It was 2013.
2013.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a
So almost 8 years.
that makes
Yeah,
you
it was
OG.
like eight,
That's an OG status there.
Yeah.
I wonder
I think
if YouTube will be like, for all those, where's the camera I can look in?
Oh,
There it
here's
is. Thank you.
the red light there.
Okay. Hey, YouTube. For all those OG creators out there that started way back when, like in 2013 when we started, how about you throw over a few more of those profits that you made? I don't know.
Are you asking for like a pension?
I want a pension.
Like a YouTube pension?
YouTube pension.
The pandemic has not been a good year for live performers. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah, we need some protections here.
Yeah, we could get like a YouTube pension. We're almost saying like a YouTube senior citizen.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. YouTube
Well,
seniors.
there's been some, I know I've watched some videos of YouTubers like sort of where they really open up all their data and tell you like how much ad revenue they make and what all that kind of thing. And I remember seeing a thing about that changing over time, and I would assume you guys would know more about that than us. But had that changed over time? Because they were going to start giving larger ad revenue to YouTubers than they used to?
I don't know. It was always a very weird thing, kind of like trying to figure out. I remember when we did the first video, I think like monetization had only started like maybe a year before or something like that. Like it was still relatively new, and people were trying to figure out what that was and if it was anything. And I remember the first video we did went viral. Like we put it out and it made its way to Reddit pretty quickly and got upvoted to the front page. And then it kind of went like, and there was like, within a couple days there was like 4 or 5 million views. And we were like, we had just expected it to be like our friends and family, like my mom telling her dress club friends, to watch it, and which had been my career up to that point.
Yeah.
And then it kind of
attest to that.
exploded. Yeah. It turned into this thing, and I remember thinking like, are we millionaires?
Oh, yeah.
Or are we hundredaires? Or like, just having no idea.
Well, they actually told us to monetize because I guess you didn't hit the button when you uploaded it.
Well, they didn't let it because we weren't like, it was the first video on the channel. So there was no, so
you
yeah,
guys
they
hit
like.
all the requirements with that first video.
Well, yeah, because it got enough views like right away, and they were like, hey, do you want to monetize this? Because it'd be, but I think it took like, it was like 3 or 4 million views before we got anything. So that was the thought. It wasn't, are we millionaires? I'm like, are we missing out on being millionaires?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we like, are we never,
Monetize now.
are we losing millions of, and it was not even like close.
Even
it was
back
like,
then, it wasn't lots of, it's like millions of views that you barely get anything. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you get money and it's
Yeah.
good. It's better than nothing, but it's not like it's like when we were producing those early seasons, we just put anything we made right back into trying to make more, and we didn't start making any. Season 3 was when we really made some money, right?
yeah, I think we got like a branding thing. I think it was through Disney.
Oh, there
I
you
think
go.
like Disneyland gave us like, it was like a few grand or something. Like it was like, but it was enough that we could actually like make the video and pay for like, I think a few other videos that season, then put like some back in our pocket. And we were like, oh, this could be like, maybe we could do this or something. Like,
Right
that
on.
could be something.
There you go. Yeah.
So, okay, speaking of early days.
But they flew us
go
down
ahead.
to Disneyland.
That's true.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's not
Yeah.
bad.
And Matt got
And-
a gift basket, and I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Did they only give us one gift
I
basket?
think they gave us one, yeah.
And then they gave us a tour of Disneyland with like a private tour guide.
Did you get to go to Club 33?
No. I remember we asked about that, and it was like very hush
That's
hush.
for very, very.
That's a
like,
different.
Gotta pay.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
a
whole
Did
other
you-
level.
membership thing.
You hadn't reached that level.
Yeah,
yet.
but
A
we
private
got to
tour
skip
level.
all. We got to skip all the lines.
Did you get to see Walt Disney's cryogenically frozen corpse? Because that's how you know you've made it with Disney, if they show you Walt's cryo corpse.
Yeah, this is
No,
Walt.
but I did eat a frozen popsicle that was
Yeah.
called Walt Disney, and that
Yeah,
was
and
delicious.
that might have been his toe.
I ate Mickey's head. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They give Mickey's.
Nice. Yeah. No. It's true though.
But yeah, speaking of early days, so where did the original concept for Convos with My 2-Year-Old come from, and more so the idea of having a grown man reenact a child's dialogue?
Yeah, I was just. I Well, my wife Layla was working like full time, and I was like waiting tables. So during the day, I was like hanging out with Coco, my daughter, all the time, and you just have like all these funny conversations or like strange interactions, and I just thought like they're just absurd, you know, like there's no way you could get away with any of this with anyone else in a situation. Like you just can't look down the back of another person's pants in a coffee shop to see if they've shat themselves and be okay. Like there's just something.
That might get some looks.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a funny idea. And David and I were working together on, we had done a little indie movie together and started collaborating, you know, writing some things, and we're trying to figure out how to do some stuff. And I just thought, like, he just had this deadpan, you know, thing that would just like crack me up all the time. And it was so opposite, like a cute 2-year-old girl, you know. And I was like, oh, that in this situation would be just so stupid. It'd be so absurd.
It's borderline creepy and funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you're just like, this is eerie.
Which is children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why every horror movie has like that
the
kid,
kid.
you know, that's
The
just
kid
like
that walks down the hall and doesn't say anything and just stares in the corner or whatever, right?
Yeah, they don't do anything, and you're like, that's creepy.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just a child walking down the hall.
Yeah.
But it's scary.
Why are you doing this?
Don't know why that's so scary, but it really is. That's if you encountered that in real life, you just be like, well, I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna check if that child's okay. I'm just gonna go.
You
I'm
get
even
out.
scared of children just, you know, unattended. Like, you're like, who are you here with? Like, immediate, it's just fear.
Yeah.
It's fear of something bad is happening or something bad's about to happen because this kid's a demon.
But then what's so crazy is like, okay, now like I'm gonna sound like an old guy, but I guess I am. Like when I was growing up, I grew up in a small town, and I lived outside of the small town, so I lived like 5 kilometers outside of where the town was, and I would hike home or bike home in the middle of the night after being in town partying with my friends, and it was like no big deal. Now granted, it was a small town, but still I'm biking through the woods for like 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was like, when did we move that? I would have been 13 all the way to 18.
Yeah.
And that was like no big deal.
Yeah.
But now it's weird, right? Because now I feel like it's like parents aren't like, it's like drop kids off at school, take them back home, like pick them up, right? Like there's no like independence.
Constant supervision.
Yeah.
You've got to be constant.
Right?
Yeah.
And in a way, even though phones are annoying, if they have a phone, you can track them.
It's like a tether.
It's true.
It's like the kids that used to have the whole harness on.
Yeah. My brother.
Yeah.
My brother
used
Peter had to have a harness. Yeah, going up. Yeah.
Yeah, my parents
You're
used to strap
watching,
me
Peter.
to my younger brother.
Ah.
So that I couldn't run away because my younger brother was strapped to me, and I'd be like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just, you know.
Just gotta drag that ball and chain.
Yeah, you know. But
So
it's true.
was the show always something that you intended for YouTube? Or was it something that you thought of pitching to like a network or something like that at any time?
Well, okay. Can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah, please.
I don't know if your intention ever was, like at the beginning, but you'd said, hey, I had these conversations with my daughter. You should read them. I think it might be funny if what if you play my daughter? So I read them and I went, yeah, that's funny. But what was before that was like, oh, we should do some stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
You said that like probably like 2 years. Like that was when we were making that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, like want to write some stuff? Yeah, but we should do some stuff for YouTube. And I was like, well, there has to be a kid or an animal or something, because I had made stuff like early. Like I had made stuff when YouTube first came out, and made some web series. Yeah, check out the Staff Room I did with my buddy JB. Like we did that, and we got like 240 views, and we were like, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Curmudgeons that we were, and probably are, and you were like, no, but it's YouTube, we can try it. And I was like, okay. And then he comes back with you playing a kid.
Yeah, like I had.
Is that right?
Yeah, because it was circling.
Good. Don't say
like,
any more. All right.
I'm trying to remember. It was a long time ago. I mean, we're OG, so so you have to really think back. But a friend of mine, my friend Cecily, was dating this guy. She was based in LA, and she was dating this guy Kasim.
Oh, right. Yes, that's right.
Kasim G, and they were doing like YouTube stuff,
And they were all, there was a group of them all working
There was a
together.
group of them all like working together, and she was like, yeah, I'm like doing this thing. We like rented like a little space, like, and we've like got a bit of gear, and we're just like shooting sketches all the time. And she was doing like funny stuff that I would watch. I'm like, oh, that's really funny. And then they started to get like investment. That became Maker Studios, which was like one of the first, or maybe the first multi-channel network, or MCN, which now I think is obsolete again or something. I don't know. But,
Well, Disney bought it.
but it was like happening. Like there was like, I was like, oh, they're like able to like do that and like kind of get paid, like make a bit of money. And I was so disenchanted with acting, like and like the traditional like going to auditions, you know, and like auditioning for something or not auditioning for a long time. And I was like, I'm not being creative. Like I'm like waiting for permission from, I don't know, some guy that I've never met and will never meet.
It's gatekeepers with too much power, and you're out there trying to, like, you know, be exposition cop #1 kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
And I was just like, that's not really like,
Yeah.
like I was kind of just growing weary of that. And so I was like, yeah, well, maybe we could do this. And David was like game, you know, with the caveat that we have be about a baby or something. So I was like, oh, maybe this will work. Maybe I'll go for this. And he was like, well, I did say that if it had a baby, I'd do it. So.
Gotcha. Why was that a caveat for you?
Well, just because like my experience on YouTube, like prior to that, was you could craft what's a pretty funny, you know, whatever, TV show, sitcom, single camera comedy, or for that matter, a sci-fi story. And at that time, it wouldn't garner any traction. And
nothing.
And even also kind of nowadays, it kind of feels that way again. And that's partly because there's just so many people that are on that platform, and there's just so many different things on offer on the platform. It's like now, like it feels like a TV, like, you know, when you used to watch, again, old TV, you'd be like, well, I'm going to go to TSN to watch sports,
Yeah.
right? Or ESPN. Or I'm going to go, I'm watching the History Channel because it's all history stuff.
Yep.
Well, now YouTube or just social media in general is all those things. And it's people's diary.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just like this constant feed of stuff. So like to rise above the din of all that, it's like really, really hard.
It's a daunting thing, and unless you kind of like, what's the word? Grasping at. It's not grasping at straws. Grasping at, it doesn't matter. But unless you strike gold, like you found a gimmick that just happened to work with reenacting kids as an adult, and capturing Stardust. I don't know. And I read a stat that there are. It would be impossible as a human to actually watch the amount of content that's being posted to YouTube now.
Oh, yeah.
There's more stuff. Ryan, would you mind looking how much stuff is posted to YouTube per day?
And can you transfer me $400?
Yeah.
Thanks.
While you're there.
While you're into
Oh
that.
yeah, I'm sure it's like all of human history is just the equivalent of one day's upload on YouTube.
Yeah, I think that the majority of information that exists, period, has been generated in the last 5 years or something. Yeah. Like it's actually become the majority of all information recorded.
And are we smarter?
No.
No, definitely
I
not.
mean, than people 50 years ago, yes, probably.
So
I will say, however,
on
it's
the
a great
average.
learning tool.
I can't remember any phone numbers anymore. I've just
No, right?
completely
I
like.
used to know everybody.
I used to have a Rolodex, and now
I used to know how to do long division.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck do you do
No,
long
all of that
division?
I've just
I have no
like
idea
removed
anymore.
from my brain and just put in my pocket.
Yeah.
So as of
it's there.
2019, it was 500 hours of video every minute. I'm not going to do the math and figure out how many hours a day that is, and it's probably doubled since then. So
500
let's say
hours a minute?
Yeah.
1,000 hours a minute.
1,000 hours a minute.
Yeah, let's say that.
Yeah, that's impossible. You could never.
No,
I don't.
Rising above that, that's difficult.
That's a lot. That's a lot of YouTube.
Now that's a show. Just someone trying to watch.
That's
All of
what
YouTube.
that is Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
For a younger audience, that's
Oh yeah.
check out that movie.
Yeah. Long story short, it's not a great strategy. It doesn't turn out great.
So you guys are both active members, not just as actors, but as directors, producers, writers, like just creators of content in the film industry. And what are the key differences from the traditional film industry versus how you make your YouTube productions, or is it very similar?
Well, money's different.
Yeah, money's different. Yeah.
Yep.
But I think
film
you know,
the same.
I think it's obviously just much relatively smaller. Film sets are just you guys know. I mean, you're just managing way more people, larger departments, and I think it's always been one of the things about making stuff for YouTube or anything sort of digitally is you can like it's an asset to be able to like move quickly, be light on your feet in a way.
Do you find that there's something from creating YouTube content that fulfills a different aspect than traditional film?
Oh yeah, like I think like the process is very different often because it's often like, especially early on. Now, like with this new season, we had a bit more of a crew, and I think our preparation was a bit more thorough, and I think it's a really good product, because of all of that. But I think early on, often it was just us and like a guy with a camera and a guy with a mic,
Okay.
And so
Which is interesting because like sometimes you can still like get high quality content with like whatever a 6-person crew.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it depends. And like what we did with this season, it was bigger and it's higher quality for sure. I think overall.
But I think like the process, like in some of those early days, we'd kind of like start the shoot with very little idea of what we were going to be doing. And not even sure, especially with that concept of like the Convos concept is
We didn't know what was going to work.
On the page, it's dull. It's like the guy just asks for a cookie several times. I mean, it's not like there's not like a Hollywood. But then you're like when you start playing with it and you start like figuring out where it's funny and then we're like, oh, and then we need a shot of this. Okay, then we should shoot this. Oh, let's shoot it this way. So it's like it's very like organically in the moment.
So it was like live on the day.
Like live on the day, yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, also because we didn't really know what we were doing all that much, especially in the early days. We were kind of like going to film school as we were doing it. Like we knew enough karate
YouTube,
to get ourselves
as far as I
killed.
know.
Which is funny, which goes back to the point, like when you get to a certain size crew, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So like there could be an argument for, like what Werner Herzog says all the time, which is like, you don't have to have a massive crew to tell a great story. And you can mobilize so much quicker. Well, wait a second. You know what? That is funny. We should get that shot. We need that. We never even thought about that for the film, or for the sketch.
Yeah.
And that only happens because you are playing and because you have a smaller crew. Well, I guess we're just moving 2 lights. We're not moving an entire.
Yeah.
Your hands up, Ryan.
Yeah, right.
That's Trevor's job, but thank you. Follow-up question based on what Matt was just saying. One, how do you get into the mindset and physicality of a child? And also, where do you find clothes that match what Coco wears for a full-grown adult man?
Yeah, that's actually a really good
I was
question.
going to ask both of those.
Oh, well, sorry.
That's fine.
Who asked that?
That was someone in the chat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Someone.
Do they have a name?
I think it was Marshall, actually.
Okay.
That was Marshall.
All right.
Is that Marshall?
Question, Marshall.
Hi, Marshall.
One was Marshall, one was Roz. Oh, no, wait, that was Marshall. And then another one.
So it was 2 separate questions.
Yeah.
So do you want to take the clothing one then?
Well, yeah, sure. You want me to answer that first?
Yeah, you might as well go for the clothing.
Yeah, I mean that was always actually sometimes the hardest part was just like you walk into like Old Navy and I'd be like, do you have anything that would fit a 3-year-old girl and a 40-year-old man? It's a long story, just answer yes or no. They'd often try to be very helpful. They were often very helpful, but you were like, trying to figure out. It's easier now.
In fairness, that might have been the most unique day that person had in a while.
Oh, yeah, I
They're
think
probably
they were
going to
like-
be like, you know what? Let's figure this out.
Either way, though, they're still looking at the security guard going,
Yeah.
Why is it easier now? Because I mean, even in season 9, when you come running, or not running, you're carrying a djembe and a guitar, but you come around the corner and you're wearing the same thing that Coco's wearing.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, now, because like Coco can fit like extra small women's clothes, and David can like squeeze into like extra large,
That
you know?
makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was like, there's a gap in the market between like, because there's like, they would make a lot of these like mass. I think
There's a business opportunity.
Yeah.
Children's
Listening, old
clothes for
baby.
grown men.
it's like, it should be called like daddy and daughter or something, where you want to wear the same.
Oh yeah. Then there was like later we found like there was some pajama companies, or there was like a couple. Whoa, there was like a couple of companies that would specialize in like family, but that just felt like almost. I felt like, am I cheating a little bit now after years of it? And also, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
Well, I always thought what was interesting, sometimes there was this unique, like sometimes it would be identical, but then sometimes it would be like kind of a little different, based sometimes like on the attitude that Coco might have had at certain points. Because remember, sometimes I'd wear like a jean jacket, and but mine would be like a bit more rock and rolly.
Yeah.
Because maybe she's more confident in the episode. So we got a little bit, like there were little shifts in it. It wasn't always just, okay, it's this type of top and this type of top, but keep it the same, you know?
Did you spend a lot of time studying Coco though?
No, not really.
Like, so you just did
did
your
I?
own?
Not really. I don't think I.
That'd be weird.
Coco and I did go on a long trip.
But like, I mean, especially early on, like just to pick up certain particular mannerisms, or are you just doing your impression of a child?
Well, I mean, I've done like lots of live comedy. Like I'm an improviser, and so I'd often play kids, like obviously in the moment all the time on stage.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we would have kids in the audience, and we'd bring them in, and I would imitate them. So it was just something that I.
But I think a lot of it was like even not. We found out kind of early, like that a lot of the funny was when you would not play it like a child. Like you'd play the logic and the intention of a child, but it'd be like you weren't like trying to be a baby or anything.
No, it would be like, but it would be like could take. I don't know. It sounds kind of hokey to say it or whatever, but you'd like, okay, well, like how do kids position themselves, but then how do you adultify it in a way?
Yeah.
And then how do you, like, because sometimes like Coco, there'd be scenes where she'd get mad and probably yell. Well, it's really funny if I yell,
Yeah.
right, and
It's a
scream.
whole different ball
or whatever.
game.
Or if you know, when the cookie episode is a great example of like just persistently asking a cookie, and you know, all I had to do was really ask multiple times.
Like a
I
soda.
didn't have to ask anything more. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
But what about like
But
the put on these pants? Like, please put your pants on. And you're
Yeah.
like, I'm not wearing pants. And then the sequence,
leg.
the struggle to get the pants on.
Yeah.
Like the physical. So when it comes to physicality like that, where you're doing the thing with your legs, where you're just like, no, don't try.
That came out of improv.
That's just- that
that
was
would
just-
have, right?
okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we were
Or
just
did
like.
Coco actually do it?
I think I was like, yeah, kick your legs or something like you're
Yeah.
trying to, you know, they do.
Don't make it easy on
But
me.
that's kind of the thing. Like kids don't have any, like they have no insecurity, right?
Yeah.
And when they
No
like
filter.
do something or say something, it's like fully committed.
Yeah.
You know, and they like when they ask something, they mean it. You know, like they have no, like there's no apologetic nature about it. You know, so just even that, like just like you being that. Like insistent or that like serious about absurd questions is just funny. Like it's just kind of a funny setup.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, that ties into something I wanted to ask about, basically absurdity. Because I mean, you have your son as well at a lower age. So,
Yeah.
But as you go through the seasons and through the years, and the children age, and the things they start to say are less absurd, did you find that you were losing some of the absurdist comedy aspect? And then because I mean, you even change your season names from like Conversations with My 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and then you go back to 2-year-old. And so was that to adapt and kind of like keep that absurd level in there?
Yeah, I think it was always like, first of all, I never thought it would last. We could do it for more than like a few episodes. Like I was like, I don't know if this is like sustainable in any way. Like eventually like the shtick wears out, you know, it felt like. And I'm sure for part of the internet it did a long time ago.
Oh, for sure.
Someone comment. But you could always like, kind of like, it was the logic of like seeing the world differently, you know? It was like the logic of like adult versus child or something, you know, like that was always like kind of the richest moment. Like I remember a couple times you do something, they'd say something funny and you would like, it never really played as well as like, just like when it's like a worldview clashing with an adult's worldview. Like I'm like, oh, that's like a rich kind of client, which is I think like how we ended up doing this new season, which is like, because it was kind of that thing where we were like, doing the same old thing didn't really feel as entertaining.
The levels are leveling out.
Yeah, they level out. Yeah, they
not
become
this
like
gap anymore.
Yeah.
So now you guys have really broken the fourth wall.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, David can still like have that. If that, yeah, I mean, the concept is basically like kind of becomes behind the scenes, and we play these kind of fictionalized version of ourselves, but David kind of just operates still in this different logic level.
The man-child.
Yeah, and like that, like he doesn't have to be a young kid or anything, but he like kind of, for all intents and purposes, like is, you know, in a lot of ways.
Arrested Development.
And I think
there's
it's
even a scene where it seems that now 9-year-old Coco, or how old is Coco now?
10.
10. There's a level of disdain from Coco to David in the real world. Even she's like,
yeah. We thought that'd be funny. It was like Coco should just be like, David really wants to be friends, you know, and she's just like, eh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I really, actually, speaking of season 9, we do have a little bit of a sneak peek to show the people at home. So we're just gonna play that clip for you guys right now. Why not?
Check it out.
Go to the clip.
Well, Christine and I decided that we needed to take a break, and then she kicked me out.
What happened?
I may or may not have forgotten a certain anniversary, birthday party, and that she's allergic to nuts. I think you're overreacting. I mean, it's only our 6th anniversary. Wait, 7th? No, 5th. How long have we been together? Honey? You know how women get when they're in anaphylactic shock. You can't reason with them. Down. 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 Right. Right. Go right.
I am.
That's left.
No, it's not.
Go right.
That's left, Shepard.
What? Well, which one's left?
Just go down. You know what down is.
I don't want to go down. I want to go left.
Okay, remember, this hand makes the L, right?
Okay, well, that's a backwards L.
Well, yes, it's backwards to you, but on your own hand, it's right.
No.
Right. I mean,
It's still backwards.
left.
I think we need to cut. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's cut. Let's cut.
What? Dude, why did you call cut? I was totally connecting with my character's motivation in that scene.
Were you? Matt, thought share.
Thought share.
Thought share in the kitchen.
Okay. What is a thought share?
It's about recasting.
Okay, Layla, it's the digital space, right? It's the Wild West. Really, one day it's a gold rush, next day it's
A dysentery outbreak.
That's actually a perfect description of the internet.
So good.
I love that line.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was a fun season actually because we could kind of like all the stuff that we'd kind of seen and done over the last 8 years or whatever, we could kind of just like feed little like they're almost little inside jokes to ourselves, you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cynicisms in there.
Yeah, a little cynicism. I mean, the digital space. There's two things. It was always like, especially early on, it was like two taglines from like everyone that we had talked to or meeting was like the digital space. Okay, it's the digital space, you know. And yeah, it's the Wild West.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Wild West.
Yeah,
Nobody knows.
that all the time.
Nobody knows.
No, nobody knows. It's the Wild West. You know.
And then the rest would be like, because I mean, part of the impetus of this show was that we've done some pitches of Convos. People were like, this should be a TV series, and so we'd gone down the path of pitching all these, the big people down in Los Angeles and stuff.
Yeah.
And people would be like, just don't see it. Can't see how it's going to work. Don't know how this can be a show. And in the meantime, we're thinking like of all of these other shows that have been made over the years, like whether it's Mork and Mindy, or whether it's what's that one with that Irish show where the kids.
Oh, Moon Boy.
Moon Boy. I know this thing. It's in my to like, there's just so many examples of how you can tell different stories and have a 12 episode season. People are like, I don't get it. So this show was like, okay, well, how can we still do Convos type humor?
Yeah.
maybe in a package that people might be like, oh, maybe this could be a regular TV show. So if you think this could be a regular TV show, write something in the comments and challenge the lords of Los Angeles, the hierarchy of Hollywood, and demand Convos Season 9, the Convos show, will come up with a better name. And we will make a TV series with your help.
So that actually brings up something I'm a little curious about. But we were talking a little bit about YouTube and where you starting back in 2013 and what that was to what it is to what it might be next, and where we've been having some conversations around sort of the new styles and the new desires of YouTubers to tell stories, to be more scripted, to get into the more season arcs and all of that kind of stuff. Do you find that you have a bit more of a better reception to this kind of an idea now on that platform, with the idea that it might turn into more of a modern television sort of space?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we were, actually, like, doing this season was a bit like going back to our roots in a way that we didn't know if it would work. It was kind of like, it was also like, felt like a bit of an experiment, So thank to you guys for jumping on and also being willing to experiment with us.
Yeah.
Because also like that's kind of I think where we get excited a little bit, and like when you don't know how it's going to work out or how it's going to turn out is a bit like where I feel like just in general that's where kind of maybe artistry lives or something like that. So that's like kind of exciting. So our first kind of question was like, okay, let's try this and see if we can make it work, if it'll work. And I think like there is for things to evolve and for stories to be told in different ways. And I mean, it's funny, like we say, like if you say like TV now, I mean, I don't even know what that is, It's like...
it's dying. It's non-traditional media.
Yeah.
It is.
The format has broken. You can have something that's 3 minutes versus, it doesn't have to be 22 minutes anymore. You don't have to factor in commercial breaks. You can make something short, long form, whatever you want. There's audiences there for all of it, which is...
Yeah, I mean, I always just found it interesting because, I have conversations with my parents, for instance, who jump on YouTube, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is interesting, and I love the personalities, and there's really cool stuff to learn here. But then all of a sudden they're like, but I wish there was a show I could watch, because then I could stay on YouTube.
Right,
And I wonder, does that indicate what that is going to become, and what that audience is going to expect?
Yeah.
So like something, you guys were probably a bit ahead of your time in what you were doing in that aspect. But
yeah, I think a little bit.
We were ahead of our time apparently back in 2013.
Thank you for noticing.
According to so much of the people in Hollywood.
Vanguard. I think
Finally, YouTube is being used for what it's supposed to be: high quality, crafted content. Meanwhile, we're just going like, "Is this funny?"
Yeah.
Want a cookie.
Yeah, I think also like people watch shows like because they like characters and they like to see them and I think now like even like I watch what my kids watch.
Yeah.
And it's a really diverse like slate of content that they'll watch and they'll easily bounce between like YouTube to Netflix to something on,
Right.
Do your
whatever
kids
like
watch Twitch?
What's that?
Are your kids into Twitch at all?
No.
No?
No, only because I don't think they really. They'll often watch like YouTube like on the TV.
Oh, okay.
And there's no Twitch
It's
app on the TV.
I think it's. I mean, all the DIY, all the vlogging stuff. It's all the live streaming. These are all great things. I mean, and maybe this is going to happen. But the one thing that I wish is like if someone makes like a really good short film or a really good sketch series, like it doesn't seem as though the YouTube or other platforms are choosing to like serve that up in the algorithm. And that's where I think like it's kind of a tragedy because I think you want to encourage people to pursue creative writing, to be cinematic. So I don't know how you achieve that yet with algorithms, but it feels like that's like an important thing because I think there's probably a gazillion incredible storytellers of any type of genre that I would probably be super happy to watch. like we were talking earlier about Alter and Dust,
Yeah.
which is YouTube channels that curate short films in horror and sci-fi. I'm like, well, that's a pretty cool approach, because then you get, like, now someone's curating something for me, and I like some good horror, so I can go there and I can watch some stuff. Or if I want a good sci-fi, like realism sci-fi, Dust has a whole sort of like section of those on their playlist. If more stuff like that happens on YouTube and they're able to serve it with the algorithm, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
Then you're going to have all these people to have a place to tell cool stories, you know?
That's something I think is actually really interesting, because like when you look at the business models of YouTube versus some of the streaming services like Netflix, YouTube is trying to optimize for watch time, viewer retention. They want you to stay on the platform as long as possible so you can watch as many ads as possible. Netflix, all they care about is the subscription. They don't give a fuck if you watch, 18 hours straight of content, but people regularly binge back to back to back to back episodes of their favorite shows on Netflix. They've built out, their platform and their user experience to allow that kind of viewing. You would think that that's something that YouTube would actually want a hell of a lot more than Netflix, because YouTube's just trying to get you to subscribe. They don't care how much, or Netflix is just trying to get you to subscribe. They don't care how much time you spend on the platform, but YouTube wants you to spend time on the platform. So why isn't YouTube looking at what Netflix is doing and saying, wow, people are binging, 6 episodes straight of 45-minute to an hour-long shows on somewhere like Netflix? Why don't we have our own version of that kind of content? Because chances are you're not going to sit there and watch 6 hours straight of tutorial videos or vlogs or.
I definitely do.
But I think I'm obviously not a smart person, so this is a wild guess. But
Obviously.
Obvious.
It's obvious.
All over his face.
right? Like,
It's not obvious at this point.
right? Like, I'm clearly not. But why? Like, all they want to do, it's click and bait. It's like going to a casino. It's like flicking through a thing. All they want, anything to keep you there is all they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious, there's a bit of a top-down. I mean, YouTube's so creator-based, and certainly even its growth and what it's turned into is based on those who use that platform to start creating things in a fashion that drove it to be what it is. And in my research, even before I created this place, there was a lot of looking at those bigger YouTubers and what are they doing and where are they going, because I feel like what they do starts to, it starts to form what that's going to be. And so you see like Casey Neistat, huge YouTuber, but he's out there and he's finishing up right now his first feature for his YouTube channel, And so would that suddenly start dictating, oh, now we're in this stage where it's films and shows, and does it become that because of the creator and less because of YouTube itself, which, as far as I understand it, does not give a crap at all about what anybody's making.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, totally.
In which case, stuff like what you guys are doing suddenly becomes like so much more relevant, because all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, no, we want the shows, we want that.
So, as we sit here, separated by plexiglass and face masks and shields, when did you guys shoot season 9?
In the heart of the COVID days.
Well, it was actually, it had calmed down, right? The summer had calmed down, and then it was slowly creeping up, and then it was right at the
start of the second wave.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess, we kind of, it was like November.
Like here, that was not that bad. Like,
wasn't that bad yet.
Compared to everywhere else, not that bad.
Yeah, I think it was like 5 day. We shot the whole thing in like 7 days.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was like day 6 or something, was like the Monday after the first weekend when there was like, things were starting to like kind of creep up again. And we were like, it was a bit nervous. But we kind of went into it like pretty honest about what we had to do. And, like everyone was wearing these and face masked and
the good ones.
Keeping like we had, everything was like protocol.
We
had
had
like
the
a
good
COVID.
Sani.
Yeah.
Good
Sandy.
Good Sani, lots of Sani.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which was a weird. I mean, it was a weird thing to make something in
Was there ever
COVID,
a time
as you guys know.
when was there ever a time when the idea of making something during a pandemic seemed too daunting that you were like, let's just postpone it, we'll do something after, or maybe we're just done with this? Or did it actually motivate you to do it?
Yeah, no, I think we were supposed to film it like in the spring last year. We kind of like, I think we were supposed to go like May or June or something, and that all kind of like shut down, and we were like, oh, maybe, I don't know.
That was a bad time, yeah.
And then the industry, like I think in June, July, like things started picking up again, and we could kind of see like how people were doing it, and certain like processes or like rules of engagement kind of started to take shape.
A pathway to execution.
Yeah.
But then by the time we got started, everybody else was doing it, and then it became challenging to get gear sometimes, and certainly crew. Remember, like and now it's even because we made a movie as well earlier this year, and that was again another problem, like just gear and people.
Are you guys allowed to talk about the movie at all, or?
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about it. Yeah.
We can't. I mean.
We don't have to get like crazy, but that's kind of fascinating. You guys made a movie. What kind of movie is it?
Yeah, it's called Corner Office, and it was like it's like a kind of offbeat, kind of dark comedy. And
Is it a spiritual successor to Staff Room?
yeah, exactly. It kind of is actually.
Yeah, it actually. Oh, that's weird. Never made that connection.
Wow, look what you started.
Yeah. Way back then. That was when we did Staff Room. That was 09.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
you said Staff Room that's on YouTube?
Yeah. We did that in it was 09. Hang on. Yeah, it was 09. It was when I came back from Toronto. Yeah, it would have been 09.
And it's still on there?
Yeah, it's probably got 362 views now.
276 subscribers.
Right, yeah.
That's one of the things about YouTube is that like, in so many ways it's a crapshoot because like I haven't watched these, but like I just skimmed through an episode. It looks like a good show. It looks like a show that was like funny and that a lot of talented people put a lot of hard work into. It's probably better than 90% of a bunch of things that got millions of views, but it got nothing.
What's amazing about that show is that show got, now again, if you watch it, it's probably a bit, like the content is edgier.
Yeah.
But that show was soft pitched to multiple places, and they didn't want to do it. But then because people were like, no one wants to see a school about teachers, or a TV show about, no one wants to see a TV show about, school teachers. Like, why would you watch that? And now there's what, Mr. D?
Yeah.
And now there's that one with, what's the name of the gentleman?
were you ahead of your time again?
Yes!
Yeah, you guys are just,
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, AP Bio. That's actually a pretty funny show.
Yeah. That's a great show, yeah.
So,
I have another question, and this is actually a me question. It's a question I'm surprised I've never asked you guys. But so the time that we've known the Convos team, it's been Matt and Dave plus Dylan, who's not on stage right now. Was Dylan involved since the beginning, or did he come into the picture later on?
let's talk about Dylan. He came in like a vulture. Have you ever seen roadkill on the side of a highway? Have you ever seen that? And then you it's picture a desert, and picture 3 or 4 vultures circling around. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Dylan is the equal of 3 or 4 vultures.
Is the
one
alpha
person.
vulture?
Yeah, he came on. We
Don't make it nice now. I made it mean and nasty.
Yeah.
Screw you, Dylan. Better?
No. You do your nice thing. You're good.
In case he's watching Dylan's rap.
Yeah.
Do your nice thing.
We did a pilot for Disney.
Oh, that's right.
For the show called Toddler Tonight, which
name.
I watched it.
actually,
Was it like a toddler-based talk show?
yeah, it was.
That's an idea.
It was like Entertainment Tonight or like Access Hollywood kind of spoof show where we would just cover toddler news.
Oh my god.
But with the same kind of drama and intensity.
Earnesty.
So
Oh my god.
Yeah, super earnest.
So earnest.
Yeah.
Was it for kids or was it for adults?
It was for adults. It was
Who knows
you
who it was
cover.
for, really, in a way?
Well,
Because
yeah.
it was really silly. Some of the stuff is so silly.
It wasn't. It
You
hasn't
should have
aired,
been
so it's
pitching that to
technically not for
Adult
anybody.
Swim, not Disney.
I still haven't got my bottle in breaking news.
Yeah, we would cover Julian peeing his pants at daycare as if it was like Lindsay Lohan's cocaine addiction.
Or wardrobe malfunctions, or
Yeah, super, just taking everything so seriously.
Brian's out of control.
But that's
He can't
how
stop
Dylan-
wetting himself.
Dylan. Because I met Dylan. Weirdly, I'm from Ontario, and Dylan was one of the first people I met in BC when I
Right.
first moved out here. In a weird way because I did improv, and Michael, he represented, and Michael Tagan's a great actor, also been in Convos, lots of things.
Great actor, nice guy.
He works a lot, so you'll probably seen him already.
Yeah, he's.
One of those guys
And,
where you're like,
so-
know that guy.
So Dylan was always like, certainly in my mind, because he was always in producing world. Like he's a manager.
Yeah, he had made like a few feature films at that point, and we had done a few seasons of Convos, but then Disney or Maker at the time commissioned this like sort of pilot, I guess. It was like a web series pilot, and we needed some extra help, like some extra production help, and I think you were like, oh, we should call Dylan.
Yeah.
And so he came on, and him and Aaron, our friend Aaron Au, who's a very successful producer now.
Works with Bright Light.
Yeah, came and helped us, and they helped us produce that, and we all got along really well, and then we just started kind of making more stuff together, and
Nice.
we haven't.
Yeah. So he's not really a vulture.
Although, do you remember speaking? So this is one of like OG YouTube. We used to go to VidCon.
Yeah.
And this was, I think, like sort of emblematic of how YouTube changed from when we started to sort of like, you know, as we were more in the middle of it into now is we used to go to VidCon. And the first year we went, I think it was like maybe the second or third VidCon. And it was at this, in like Anaheim at the convention center where they have like a lot of big conventions. And it was just like a bunch of like people that made YouTube stuff and then like a bunch of people that watched it. And they would all just like hang out and talk. You'd walk around, you'd talk to people, you'd like meet other like creators and stuff like that, and you'd be like,
Meet
hey,
fans, people
meet
be
fans,
like,
you know, people would like talk stuff, and people would get pictures of you. They didn't know who you were all the time. They just saw you, other people taking pictures with you, and they're like, we should probably get a picture.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
That guy might be important. I don't know, but he might be.
He's taking a selfie with some of this like teenage girl, and she was like, can I get a photo? We were like, yeah, of course, you know, always here for our fans. Sure. Who are you?
But as years went on, it became my mom loves your show.
Mom loves the show. Yeah, which is great. Yeah. Is Mom hot? No.
But then after that era of like kind of this nice, like real sense of community, I would say.
Yeah.
It became Suits.
Business.
Looking through windows
literally the
down at the
second-
people,
Yeah,
right?
the second or third year we were there, there's like multiple. I think there's 3 levels to that convention center, and there was like, you would the lobby on the first floor is like all open, and then there's like a balcony above. And I remember being there in like the second or third year we were there, whatever. We were with a bunch of people, and it was just kind of a different vibe. And I remember looking up, and there was like this row of white guys in suits, and I swear they were doing this.
Then it became like before, like we could go anywhere. We were like YouTubers. We had enough, whatever. We had a bunch of subscribers, and people knew who we were. Then it was like, actually, what's your pass? No, you don't have a pass to go to this floor. You can't go there.
And I had a
Remember, like
yeah,
it became
very
harder
different,
and harder to go to certain spaces.
I had an interesting experience when I first started here. I went down to LA for, it wasn't VidCon, it was Vid Summit. And we hadn't launched yet. And it was really shocking to me how kind of cliquey and standoffish the YouTuber community, at least in LA, was. Because like I tried multiple times to like talk to people and like, you know, kind of sidle my way into conversations. I was there by myself, and you just got this vibe that like people were like, how many subs do you have? What's your view count? Like unless you can like get me something that I'm looking for, I don't give a fuck about you and whatever you're trying to do. It was
I think
very
that's
weird.
probably also, I mean, I think that's probably true, but I also think it's like so many people could go that so many people would, like, now all of a sudden there are lots of people asking you questions, so then who do you talk to? Who do you, like, because there was one year where we were there, it was not the first year, it was when it started to get bigger, and then there was a stampede of people chasing a YouTuber down.
What?
And
Might have been a Viner.
It might have been a Viner.
Oh, to be a TikToker?
But like, and I was like, oh, it's getting serious. Like,
Yeah.
when there's people, because that's when people get hurt. I mean, it sounds so weird to say,
Yeah,
but
it
like,
was getting
when there's like 100 people chasing a person down a conference pavilion hallway, it's like, okay, so now everyone's like, who are you, and stay away, and how, like.
Yeah.
Just a matter of time, I think, before like you get that much audience and attention, people are going to figure out how to like. mold it into a money-making machine.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, you know.
100%.
Something that we were talking about earlier about the whole short film thing and how it should be encouraged. I think that there's a drastic gap between the kind of like marketability and the return, like the ROE on feature films and everything there versus like your traditional fair DIY YouTube stuff. That short films, to be the caliber they need to be that interesting, there's not enough of a way to make that reciprocal. Like so that you can make something like that, get enough out of it to then make another one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
think that there's something very much lacking there in the way that YouTube rewards the creators of the videos.
Yeah.
So there does need to be some sort of, Google needs to maybe assess what level of production value and what budget goes into videos. Like, I don't know that.
Well, you know what? Like to me, it's like this is something to think about. Someone posted the other day on Facebook that, hey, you know, let's not forget.
Obviously not very smart.
Yeah.
I told you guys. I prove it every 7.5 minutes.
No, I love the name False Book. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
False Book is amazing.
Yeah.
So they posted that, hey, let's everyone just be, you know, thinking of artists, because if you've been sitting down watching 18 hours of Netflix or YouTube, all these people that are creating stuff, like, hey, like, they're the people that are, you know, we need the arts, basically, is what this post was saying. So when you think about it like that, you're like, well, holy cow, during a pandemic, you're stuck at home and you have nowhere to go and you're watching, wow, isn't it great that there's all these creative people out there making this content for you to sit at home and do work, but also escape whatever you need to do, right?
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that that keeps happening? Well, like I would assume corporations have to get in there and start you know, sponsoring or supporting and being like,
sponsors
look.
need to, because right now the only major place people can turn to is crowdfunding. So, but the onus shouldn't be on the consumer directly if the bulk of the money that's generated by the consumption of the thing is made by this corporation. Corporations need to be completely kneecapped and reevaluated, or like reinvest in the thing that's making the money more than just such. The greed is screwing it all up.
It's challenging, right? But at the same time, you're like, that's also like the system. So that's how, like the reason why there's so many types of DIY or vloggers on YouTube is because that's what the algorithm is.
Yes.
Right. So it's like, it's just, if you change the rules a little bit, then however the watershed changes, right?
It's very true.
I mean, I will say I do think there'll be more of it, and you know, I do believe that is a transition we're going to see in YouTube. It's certainly something we're going to be working at here. It's very much a big thing for us, and we are fortunate enough to be in a position that we get to do that. And we're going to pursue those kinds of things and make some really cool short films and content for you guys out there. And
I think people want it. That's like I think people are certainly like, they want to watch. Well, like I've been watching how to make bone broth. Let's not get into my bone broth story.
I think part of that picture is that, and I come from the world of like performance-based digital advertising. I spent 8 years of my career running a marketing agency. YouTube has both sort of like channel and interest and keyword-based advertising targeting. And so part of the reason that I think a lot of people are focusing on making, you know, tutorial and vlog and those other forms of content and why they continue to succeed is because that's what makes YouTube the most money. Because the closer an advertiser can get to a purchase, the more valuable that ad is. And so if they can target a keyword like, you know, laptops or, you know, bone broth or something and place an ad on a video that's somebody showing somebody how to use a new, like a bone broth utensil. I don't know anything about bone broth. Or like reviewing laptops or cars or legal services or whatever, you know, that ad is worth a lot more to the advertiser, so that content creator makes a lot more money. You get into like RPMs and CPMs on YouTube, and some of the highest rates that people earn from advertising are people that talk about like legal services, because lawyers will pay through the teeth to acquire a customer.
So start making short films about legal
Well,
services.
it's just funny that you say that, 'cause I stumbled on like Ethereum and blockchain, people explaining that, and I was like, And I looked at his subscriber base, and I looked at what he was. I was like, there's a whole like I never again.
Oh, yeah.
And that also is what's so amazing about YouTube. Is like there's so many different like stories or informational things on it. It's like it's mind-boggling. Like I went and learned all about Ethereum and blockchain the other day.
Oh, nice. And are you?
I would like to buy it, but I can't do it in a TFSA account, so I'm not interested.
Okay, we have gone a little bit over time, so I want to thank.
Well, I just wanted to say a quick thing too there, because I know we got to wrap up. We got to wrap
what's
up.
up?
But I just wanted to say.
Hang on, there's a time limit?
Yeah.
Is there a show on after us?
Yeah.
No, it's that we have our staff like up in the booth, switching cameras. We've got our camera guy.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep.
I thought that they were robots.
Yeah,
that's a
one is.
robot right there.
That is
But
a robot.
you know.
What? Is anybody moving that?
No, that's just going.
This is
It literally
Owen,
just moves
this
on
is
its own.
Casey. They are not robots. I can attest for
Yeah.
Casey.
Owen's
I've known him
a
my whole
maybe
life.
Doing a good
partial
robot.
robot.
What were you trying to say?
No, I just wanted to say, it has been a real pleasure getting to know these guys and being able to support Convos, and hopefully we're going to continue making stuff together in the future. And really, at the end there, we were really getting into it, and short films and all of that really cool and fun content that we're going to try to make, and I'm excited to make some of that with you guys. So it really has been great. And I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for getting involved, and I love the fact that's your approach and perspective to it.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's probably a bunch of other people out there too that we haven't heard of yet that are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to build it so that they will come.
Yeah.
I got
Come find us.
One final
here.
thing I want to say about what we were just talking about who corporations spending money on what. It does come down to you, the viewer. Your clicks, your subscriptions, your likes are essentially like how you vote by spending money.
Yeah.
Like the things that you watch and that you invest your time in will start to get more money put into them, more investment put into them, because they become profitable for the people who are holding and pulling the strings. So thank you guys again for joining us. Thank you at home for watching. And check out Convos Season 9. Make sure to go to Convos TV. There's a link to the channel. Go subscribe and watch their stuff. It's really funny.
It's very funny.
And you can watch 1 through 8. Check it all out if you haven't watched it.
500 hours per second.
There you go.
There's 500 hours per second.
There you go. Lots of it.
On there.
But yeah, check out all the seasons. Check out Season 9. There's 2 episodes out so far. There's 1 a week is the release schedule.
Yep.
And tune in next Tuesday on Twitch for Questline, May the 4th, Star Wars, tabletop one shot or not.
Which we are going to have these guys on one of these days.
Will. And until next time, stay filthy.